So I recently decided to challenge myself and have GPT ask me a question. And it came up with a really good question. I was shocked. It's what are your go-to exercises in the weight room to improve rotational power for hitters, and how do you progress them throughout the season? So two things. I'm going to assume it means off season, and I'm also going to discount the use of like cable chops, water bag stuff, med ball stuff. I'm going to keep it just weight room. So here we go. Rotational power is such a specific thing. It seems really simple, but it really has a lot of different variables that you have to consider. You got to ask yourself, can this person be powerful in general, and do they naturally produce a lot of force in a relatively short amount of time? And generally with younger guys, the answer to that is no. And so we prioritize the ability to produce force primarily with like basic compound lifts, squat, bench, split squat, deadlift, all these types of things to really build like a solid foundation of strength for younger folks. And you really want to do this for a couple years before it's really necessary to get more advanced with training techniques, because rotational power is rooted in strength, right? It's force times velocity. If you're not strong, you only have half the equation there, right? Now, let's say it's a more developed high school guy or a college guy or even a pro guy. The strength, and we know the strength is there. Now the question becomes, can they move well? Have they spent too much time developing strength and compressing themselves so they look like a sumo wrestler trying to swing? Is there relative motion? If the answer to that is no, we're going to spend some time doing exercises like special split squats or special, unilateral variations of bench or landmine presses to, one, challenge to more stability in certain positions, and also to promote like reciprocal movement. So meaning one side of the body does the opposite of the other. We're not compressing the crap out of everything. But the challenge with those guys is to preserve and build strength, but also to preserve and acquire better relative motion. You don't want them turning like sumo wrestlers. You want to basically make them more athletic without losing that strength. Now, the other question has to be, can they produce force in a relatively quick manner? Lifting a bunch of weight is cool, but if all your training is low and slow and it takes an eternity, you're probably going to get your doors blown off by elite pitching. It's important that you train rate of force development, or the ability to produce force quickly. This is where velocity-based training comes into play. We can get really specific with working on specific spots in the force velocity curve to make sure that there's that power is happening. It's a blend of force and velocity, right? Olympic variations are great for this too. Or we might have a guy squat with a certain weight at a certain speed. That kind of stuff really can move the needle in the right direction for guys in terms of creating power. In terms of progressing, with younger guys, progressive overload. It's pretty linear. With time, you get stronger, you challenge yourself, you do more and more and more. And before long, you have a really solid foundation, right? With the older guys, it's a matter of like finding ways to challenge them and also create a stimulus. Can they move it a little faster? Is there a move that suits this guy better than this guy? Keeping the main thing without getting boring is really the hard part in terms of us as trainers creating workouts. But we want to make sure we're moving in the right direction.